I never expected a quiet Sunday afternoon to change my entire life. It started when my mom asked me to clean the attic. She said it casually, like it was nothing. But the moment I stepped into that dusty old room, something inside me felt strange, like a memory I didn't even know I had was trying to wake up. Boxes everywhere, old clothes, childhood toys, stuff no one had touched in years. And then I found the box, a small wooden box, pushed behind everything, hidden so carefully you'd think someone wanted it to stay buried forever. I pulled it towards me. My hands were shaking, and I didn't even know why. When I opened it, I saw a bundle of letters tied with a faded ribbon. But one letter was different, newer, clean, perfectly sealed, and it had my name on it, my full name, written in handwriting I didn't recognize. I stared at it for a long time, my heart pounding so hard that I could hear it echo in my ears. Something felt wrong. Something felt hidden. Why would there be a letter addressed to me? In an attic box no one touches. I picked it up and turned it over. Then I froze. Because at the back, written in tiny, careful letters, was a name I had heard only once in my entire life, my real father, the father my mom never talked about, the father I was told left us before I turned 2, the father whose face I could barely remember. I stared at that name so long that tears blurred my vision. Why? Why was there a letter from him? Why was it hidden? Why didn't my mom ever tell me? I wanted to open it right there. My fingers were already on the seal, but something stopped me, because suddenly everything made sense. My mom always avoided questions about him. She always changed the topic. She always said, "Some things are better left in the past." But this wasn't the past. This was a message meant for me, and she hid it. For 18 years, my whole body started to shake. My world felt like it was breaking apart. What was she hiding? Why did she hide it? What wasn't I supposed to know? I didn't care anymore. I wanted the truth. I grabbed the letter and ran downstairs. "Mom!" My voice cracked. "Where did this come from? Why was this hidden in the attic?" She saw the letter in my hand, and her face turned white. Not pale, not scared. White, like she had seen a ghost. She didn't say anything at first. She just stared at the letter and whispered, "You weren't supposed to find that." My heart dropped. My legs felt weak. "Why?" I asked. "Why would you hide something like this from me?" She opened her mouth and began to cry. Not loud crying, not dramatic crying, silent, guilty, painful crying, the kind you cry when you've been hiding something for too long. She sat down slowly, covered her face, and whispered, "I did it to protect you." My chest tightened. Protect me? From what? Before I could ask, she continued, voice shaking. "You don't understand. Your father, he wasn't supposed to contact you. He wasn't allowed to." Allowed? What did that mean? The room felt cold. I felt sick. "Mom," I said, "what aren't you telling me?" She looked up at me, tears running down her face, and then she said something that changed everything, something that shattered the last piece of the life I thought I knew. She whispered, "Your father wasn't the man you think he was, and the truth could destroy you." My mom didn't look like herself anymore. Not the strong woman I grew up seeing, not the calm, steady mother who raised me alone. No, she looked broken. "Mom," I whispered, "please, tell me the truth." She wiped her tears, but her hands were shaking so badly she missed her cheek the first time. "You were just a child," she said. "You were so small. I didn't want your life to be ruined before it even began." Ruined? How? By what? But she didn't give me time to speak. She took a deep breath, a painful one, and said, "Your father didn't leave us because he wanted to. He was taken away." Taken away? My stomach twisted. My hands turned cold. "Taken by who?" I asked. She looked straight into my eyes. "By the government." That hit me so hard I forgot how to breathe. The government? What did that even mean? Was he a criminal? A spy? Someone dangerous? Mom, what? Why would they take him? She hesitated. Her lips trembled, and then she said, "Because he knew something he wasn't supposed to know." The room suddenly felt too quiet, too still, like the world was listening. I sat down slowly, afraid my legs might give out. "Mom, what did he know?" She looked away, almost like she was scared the walls might hear her. Then, very quietly, she whispered, "He discovered something at his job. Something about a program, a project. Something big." "What project?" I asked, my voice barely coming out. "I don't know," she said. "They never told me. They only told me one thing." Her voice cracked. "That if he ever contacted his family again, we would all be in danger." My blood froze. Danger? Us? Me? I grabbed the letter with shaking hands. "Then what is this?" I said. "Why would he send me a letter?" She exhaled shakily. "The letter arrived the day they took him." My heart stopped. "He sent it before he disappeared," she said. "And they came looking for it." A chill ran through me. "They came to the house?" I whispered. She nodded. "They searched everything, every drawer, every cabinet, every room." She swallowed. "And when they didn't find the letter, they warned me." My voice trembled. "What did they say?" She looked up with eyes full of a fear I had never seen before. "They said if the letter ever surfaced, your life would be watched. Every step, every decision, every friend, every place you go." My throat tightened. "They said the letter contains information," she continued. "Information that wasn't meant to survive." I couldn't speak. My heart was pounding so loudly I felt dizzy. "Mom," I whispered, "you hid it all these years to protect me?" She nodded, crying silently. "You were just a baby," she said. "You didn't deserve this life. You didn't deserve to grow up with fear." A tear rolled down my cheek. "So you hid everything," I said softly. "Even my father." She closed her eyes. "He loved you," she whispered. "More than anything. He wanted to keep you safe, even if it meant being erased." I stared at the letter, my hands trembling. What if this letter tells me the truth? What if he wanted me to know everything? Mom looked at me desperately. "I didn't want you to open it," she said, "because once you know, you can't go back." I took a deep breath. "Mom, I need to know. I deserve to know who I am." Her face fell, like she already knew this moment would come someday. She nodded slowly. "Then open it," she whispered. My heart nearly stopped. I held the letter in both hands, slid my thumb under the seal, and tore it open. The sound echoed through the room. Inside, there were 3 things: a folded paper, a photograph, and a small black key. My hand shook as I unfolded the paper. At the top, written in bold letters, "If you are reading this, they failed to stop you." My breath caught in my throat. I kept reading. "I am not who your mother thinks I am, and neither are you." I froze. Me? What did that mean? Then another line. "Your life will change the moment you finish this letter. You were never meant to be ordinary." My vision blurred. My heart dropped. What was happening to me? I looked at my mom, but she looked as confused as I was. I turned back to the letter, and then I read the line that shattered everything I believed about myself. "They will come for you too, once they realize who you are." My fingers went numb. The room felt like it was spinning. And before I could read more, someone knocked on our door. Not gently, not normally. A loud, hard, terrifying knock. 3 times. Bam, bam, bam. My mother's face drained of color. She whispered, barely breathing, "They found us." The knocking didn't stop. It grew louder, harder, more deliberate. Bam, bam, bam. My heart jumped into my throat. My mother, pale as a ghost, grabbed my arm. "Don't move," she whispered. But the knocking, it wasn't knocking anymore. It was pounding. Bam, bam, bam. The kind of sound that makes your bones vibrate. "Mom, who is that?" I whispered. She swallowed. Her voice cracked. "I think it's the same people who took your father." My breath left my body. I looked at the letter in my hand, at the black key, at the photograph. Everything inside me screamed, "Run!" but my feet couldn't move. "Mom, what do we do?" I said, trying not to panic. She grabbed my shoulders, her hands trembling. "Listen to me," she whispered urgently. "No matter what happens, you don't open that door." The pounding continued, now shaking the entire house. Bam, 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 bam. "Open up!" a deep voice yelled from the other side. My heart almost stopped. They knew we were inside. My mom pushed me toward the hallway. "Go," she said. "Take the letter. Take the key. Hide." I hesitated. "Mom, I'm not leaving you." She cupped my face, tears running down her cheeks. "Please," she whispered. "I already lost your father. I can't lose you." Those words broke me. The door rattled violently. Someone was trying to force it open. I grabbed the letter and ran toward the back hallway, my breathing sharp and uneven. Behind me, the door burst open with a sickening crack. My mom screamed, "Run!" I turned once, just enough to see 3 dark figures storm into our living room. Black clothing, no insignias, no badges, faces covered. They weren't ordinary men. They looked like shadows. One of them grabbed my mom. I froze, but she looked at me, right into my eyes, and mouthed, "Go." My legs finally started moving again. I darted into the laundry room and crouched behind the washing machine, clutching the key so hard it dug into my skin. I could hear everything. Their boots on the floor. Their commands. One voice deeper than the rest said, "She has it. Find the letter." My blood ran cold. They knew. They knew exactly what they were looking for. Another man spoke. "We need the key, too." I covered my mouth to keep from making a sound. Then, silence. Deep, terrifying silence. I waited for footsteps. None. I waited for voices. None. Just silence. I didn't know if they left or if they were standing outside the door waiting for me to move. I stayed there for what felt like hours. Finally, a soft creak, a footstep. Someone was in the hallway. Slow, calculated. They were searching, coming closer. I prayed he wouldn't look inside the laundry room. But then, the doorknob turned. My heart almost exploded. The door opened slowly, inch by inch. A tall figure stepped inside. Heavy boots, dark gloves, a mask that hid everything but the coldness in his eyes. He scanned the room. I pressed myself deeper behind the machine, trying to make myself invisible. But then he stopped, stared at the washing machine, tilted his head like he sensed me, and took one step toward me. Just one, but that was enough to end me. His hand reached out toward the machine, toward me. But before he could touch it, a loud crash came from the living room. He snapped his head toward the sound. Then he rushed out of the room. I exhaled shakily, almost collapsing. This was my chance. I crawled out and peeked through the door. From the corner of the hallway, I could see the living room. My mom on the floor. A man standing over her with something in his hand. Something metallic. Not a gun. Something worse. He said, "If you don't tell us where it is, we will find your daughter." My breath caught. He wasn't bluffing. He meant every word. My mom spat at him. "She's gone," she said. "You'll never find her." A second man walked toward her. "Everyone talks eventually." Something inside me snapped. I couldn't leave her. I wouldn't leave her. I stepped out of my hiding place. My voice shook, but I forced it out. "Stop!" Every head turned toward me. All 3 men. My mother. Everyone froze. My mom's eyes widened in horror. "No!" she cried. "Run!" But it was too late. The tallest man stepped toward me. Slow. Calm. Like he expected me to appear. Like he was waiting. "Hand it over," he said. I clutched the letter to my chest. Why? I demanded. He didn't answer. Instead, he smiled, a cold, lifeless smile. Because that letter, he said, is worth more than your life. My hands shook violently. Who are you? I whispered. He leaned closer, and in a voice barely above a breath, he said, We're the people your father tried to expose. Everything inside me froze. Before I could react, someone grabbed me from behind. A cloth covered my mouth. A sharp chemical smell filled my nose. The world blurred. My vision dimmed. I heard my mom scream, and the last thing I saw before everything went black was the tall man picking up the small black key from my hand. When I woke up, everything was dark, not dim, not low light, pitch black. My head pounded, my throat felt dry, my wrists hurt like they'd been tied. For a moment, I didn't even know if my eyes were open. The darkness was that deep. I tried to sit up and realized my hands were free, but something else was wrong. The floor was cold, concrete, smooth, and there was no sound, no humming of machines, no traffic, not even air vents, just silence, a silence that felt engineered. I whispered, "Hello?" My voice echoed, snapping back at me like I was inside a box. Then a faint click, a single dim bulb flickered on above me. The room was small, bare, concrete walls, no windows, one metal door with no handle. It wasn't a room. It was a cell. I crawled toward the wall and leaned against it, trying to slow my breathing. How long was I out? I whispered to myself. I touched my pocket, empty. The letter was gone. The key was gone. And worst of all, so was my mother. I stood up shakily and pressed my ear against the metal door. Nothing. Just silence. Until clank, clank, clank. Locks turning. Heavy ones. The door swung open slowly, and a bright light from the hallway blinded me. When my eyes adjusted, I saw him. The tall man. The one with the cold, empty smile. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. "Comfortable?" he asked, his voice calm, almost polite. I didn't answer. He walked toward me, his shoes clicking rhythmically on the floor. "You should know," he said. "Your mother is still alive." I felt a wave of relief, followed immediately by dread. "But she won't be for long," he added casually, "if you don't cooperate." My stomach twisted. "What do you want?" I whispered. He smiled again, small, calculated. "The truth," he said. "The truth your father died for." I froze. "My father didn't die," I snapped. "He disappeared." The man stepped so close that I could feel his breath against my face. "No," he said softly. "He was eliminated." My knees almost gave out. "Eliminated? Why?" He studied me for a moment, then said, "Because he uncovered something he was never supposed to see." My throat tightened. "What does that have to do with me?" "Everything," he said. "You have the letter. You carry his blood. And your father knew you'd be the only one brave enough to finish what he started." I shook my head. "You have the letter. You have the key. What else do you want from me?" He leaned in closer. "We want to know who else your father contacted." My heart sank. Someone else? Someone he trusted? I didn't know anyone, but the man didn't believe me. "You're lying," he said quietly. "You know more than you think." He reached into his coat, pulled out a small black tablet. On the screen, a picture of my mother, tied to a chair, a bruise on her temple, still breathing. My heart shattered. "Stop!" I cried. "Leave her alone." He tilted his head. "Tell me the truth," he said calmly, "and she walks free." I didn't know what truth he wanted. I didn't know anything, but something inside me whispered, "He'll kill her anyway." He stepped back toward the door. "Take a moment," he said. "I'll be back." The door shut with a metallic slam. 3 locks clicked into place. I fell to my knees shaking, my mind spinning. What truth? Who else did my father contact? Then something strange happened. A small scratchy sound came from the corner of the room. I turned. There was a tiny vent, barely visible. A whisper came through it. "Don't trust him." I froze. "Who's there?" I whispered. A pause, then a soft voice, female, older, trembling. "I'm in the next cell," she said. "They've kept me here for 7 months." My heart thudded. "Why?" I asked. "Because," she said quietly, "I know what your father was trying to expose." My breath caught. "You knew him?" She exhaled shakily. "He saved my life, and now they will kill me for it." I pressed closer to the vent. "What did he find?" "You have to tell me." The woman's voice cracked. "It wasn't a secret," she whispered. "It was a list." "A list?" "Yes," she said. "A list of every person these men planned to eliminate." My chest tightened. "And your father's name," she continued, "was at the top." My blood went cold. "And the second name?" I whispered. There was silence, a silence that lasted too long. Then, finally, her voice came through, faint, terrified. "Yours." I froze. "My name? On a list of people marked to be eliminated?" My heartbeat pounded so loud it felt like it echoed in the empty room. "My name? Why?" I whispered through the vent. The woman on the other side sighed shakily. "Because you are your father's daughter," she said, "and they believe you will finish what he started." I backed away from the wall, my hands trembling. "What did he start?" I asked. "What was on that list?" The woman answered in a soft, breaking voice. "Everyone who discovered their operation, everyone who spoke up, everyone who refused to stay silent." I swallowed hard. It made a terrible kind of sense. My father, missing for years. Now me, my mother, and maybe this woman too. "But why me?" I whispered again. "Because," she said, "you're the only one left they can't control." Suddenly, a loud metallic clank echoed through the hallway. Bootsteps. Getting closer. The woman whispered urgently. "They're coming back. Listen to me. Behind your bed, on the floor. There's a loose tile. Your father left something there for you." My breath caught in my throat. "He knew you'd come," she said. "He knew one day you would be brave enough to search for him." The footsteps grew louder. Metal jangled. "Go," she whispered. I crawled quickly to the bed, my fingers scraping across the cold concrete floor. One tile felt different, slightly raised. I dug my nails underneath and lifted it. Inside the small hollow space was a folded note, a silver key, and a picture of me and my father. My hands shook. I unfolded the note. Only one sentence was written. "If you're reading this, trust no one but the woman next door." My throat tightened. The door locks clicked. I shoved the tile back, hid the key in my sleeve, and gripped the note tightly. The door opened. The tall man stepped in again, his voice calm as always. "Have you decided to tell the truth?" I stood slowly, my mind racing, my heart pounding, and for the first time, I felt something rise inside me. Not fear, not panic, not confusion, strength. "My father didn't die because he was weak," I said, my voice steady. "He died because he was brave." The man's smile faded, and I'm done being afraid. He took a step forward, but suddenly, alarm. A deafening siren. Flashing red lights. The hallway filled with shouts. The man spun toward the door. "What? How?" From the vent, the woman's trembling voice whispered, "I told you. Your father saved my life." I stared at the ceiling speaker, realizing she had triggered something. A lockdown. A breach. A chance. The man lunged toward me, but I used the moment of chaos, ducked under him, and sprinted out the cell door. Behind me, I heard him roar, "Stop her!" I ran through the maze-like corridors, clutching the key in my sleeve. Red lights flashed, doors slammed, guards shouted, but all I could think was, "Find Mom! Find Mom! Find Mom!" Finally, at the end of a long hallway, a room with a glass window, Inside, my mother, tied to a chair, bruised, exhausted, but alive. "Mom!" I screamed. Her head snapped up, her eyes widening with desperate hope. "Honey!" The key in my hand burned like destiny. I unlocked the door, the chain, the cuffs. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. "Oh, thank God, thank God. Mom, we have to go." Behind us, more shouts, more footsteps. We ran, up the stairs, through steel doors, down a long corridor. Finally, a final door, marked with a faded sign. Emergency exit. My hands shaking, jammed the key into the lock. It turned, the door burst open, and cold night air hit our faces. Trees, dark sky, freedom. My mother and I stumbled out onto the gravel ground, gasping. Sirens echoed inside the facility. Dogs barking, guards yelling. But we didn't look back. We just ran, and ran, and ran, until the night swallowed us whole. Epilogue. Emotional close. We made it. The world was quiet, the stars were bright, and for the first time in years, I felt safe. Later, after miles of walking and hiding, we reached a gas station and called for help. The woman in the next cell, we never saw her again, but I think about her every night. My father saved her life, and in return, she saved ours. My father didn't disappear. He sacrificed himself so I could survive. And now, the truth he died for, the list, the evidence, the names, they're in my hands. And this time, I won't run. I won't hide. I won't be silent. The world will know the truth, because this story doesn't end in fear. It ends in freedom.